Hello folks, it is me, I'm Biggy, and I'm back, and this is Let's Play Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic's Obscura. And when we last left off, we went to the sewers, got ourselves a bunch of levels, and yeah, currently we're at level 13, and we have 1 point to spare. We're almost at level 14. And I have found, with this inventor, a schematic. Well, a couple of schematics. One is for an electrocute grenade, so we will learn. And the other one will be for a charged sword. Now, this is the more important one. And if you look at the inventory, or more accurately, look at our tech tree, switch over to Learn Schematic, and a electrical stuff. A charged sword requires us to get to have a balanced sword and a large capacitor. And you will notice a number 40 here. What this means is that we need 40 in smithy, not smithy, electrocution, before we actually make this sword. And unfortunately, we can't make the sword yet unless we spec ourselves. Electric. There's a couple of ways of doing this. I wasn't planning in investing more into electric. Because it's going to, well, it's a character points too many. But what I'm going to do is, first off, head to, well, did I buy the stuff? No, that was silly. First off, let's actually grab ourselves a capacitor. That's why I was here with the inventor in the first place, wasn't I? Yep, interested in trading, sir? We need your capacitor. And pop. Come on. And there's anything else that we want? Not at the moment. Okay, head out. And yeah. We'll head towards Tarrant University. Reason being is that Tarrant University has a couple of things that we actually want. And I kind of neglected doing that earlier. So let's take this and head towards the university. And once we're there, we will head this way. I'll be honest, but we actually were here before, but I had to cut out a large chunk of the episodes just so you can see. We got the Zoological Society. There's nothing for us here at the moment. We also have the Hall of Records. Oh no, the Town Hall and the Hall of Records down below. But nothing that we are actually interested in at the moment. We also have the library. We could join to read some more books. We have the University Court. Is the lecture hall. Not something we want to actually. But last but not least is this area. This area is going to reveal us a bunch of lore. So let's actually go ahead and head here. Have a chat with a couple of these guys. This is a gnome city dweller. Hello, sir. Might I ask who you are? I am Benjamin Gershwin, Doctor of Phrenology. How can I be of service? Well, nice to you, Benjamin. Did you say phrenology? Phrenology. It is the science of the head. You see, every man, woman's head is characterized by different bumps and ridges. Through studying these, I attempt to extrapolate the personality of the individual involved. It's dreadfully interesting. Phenomenally accurate. Yeah. Will you read my head then? Sure. Oh, here, you just lower your head a little and turn to the right. Quite. Quite interesting. would say surmise unquestionably that you are indeed a human. Wow, your powers amaze me, Benjamin. Yes, I know. But remember, it's not me, it's science, phrenology. It is the science of the future, of course. What are you currently working on, though? It's interesting that you ask. I'm looking forward to acquire the skull of Jin and Zin, the famous renowned Siamese twins. Studies. They were elvish debutantes who were joined at the hip to the whole lives. Oh, that's Jin and Zin is a play on Chang and Eng, who are Siamese, Siam being where I'm from, or Thailand as we know of right now. But yeah. For my studies, they were elvish debutantes who were joined at the hip their whole lives. Scandalous characters as well. stories of their exploits still float around in the elite Tarantina socialized. Okay, but acquire them. Where can I find these skulls? Yep. Well, I'm going to be a bit of a bit of a problem. Perhaps you could help me with it. They're interned in the mausoleum in the Tarrant cemetery. I'll pay you 100 golds for pieces for your trouble. Wait, you want me to rob a grave for you? All in the interest of science, my boy. All in the interest of science. Just think about the advantages that could be made from just this one little indiscretion. Well, if you phrase it so eloquently, I guess I'll do it. Thank you so much. The informant of these skulls might very well unlock the final phrenological secret. Help us go and gain insight into the workings of the human mind. I'm sure they will. Goodbye. Okay, but that's pretty much it for our friend here. Let's head and talk to our elven city dweller. And you might also notice that the skulls of Jin and Zin are of interest to our buddy This is Air as well. That's what he's looking for. And he said it's in a warehouse somewhere in the city. And we'll look into that in this episode too. But greetings, sirs. Who might you? Might I ask who you are? I'm Professor Aldius Buxington. And I am the head of the religion department here at Tarrant University. What? I'm Myth. I'd ask a few questions. Tell me about what you do. Well, me, I've been at Tarrant University for many years. Mostly I teach classes, but I still do a fair bit of research when I could find the time. What sort of research are you doing right now? Currently, I'm studying the older pagan religions of Arcanum. I'm sure you're aware the Panari have been the favored religion in Arcanum for the last 1,500 years, but in the years before the Age of Legend, there were many religions, many gods. The races had certain gods that they prayed to, and those gods studying. Well, if you look at the timeline, and right now it's 1885, and Panari religion would have been prevalent at the 3rd century, which lines up pretty well with Christianity comparisons here. So kudos that I think it was around the 3rd century BCE. No, not the 3rd century BCE, not 3rd century AD. That Catholicism was adopted as the main religion in Rome, or the Holy Roman Empire. But what I even call that Catholicism is Eastern Orthodoxy. Wait, I'm getting out of I have too much knowledge. I play too much Civilization. That's the problem. But I see. Could I ask you a few questions about the pagan religions? Yeah. Tell me about the pagan gods. Okay, there were 12 pagan gods, all 8 lesser gods, and 3 of the greater gods, and the All-Father. Offerings were made to these gods in the hopes of getting their blessings, and each god demanded a different offering. I've done quite a bit of research on. I wrote a book about them. Would you like a copy? Yeah, sure. Here you go. And just in our book now. Okay. Is there anything else I could help you with? I have questions about the pagan religions. Yes. Are there still pagan temples? Yes. There's still individuals who worship them as well. Both the Order of Halcyon and the Cult of Geshtania are examples. Most of the ancient pagan temples are in ruin now, but you can still find them scattered throughout the Arcanum and still have their altars intact. Okay. About the pagan religions then. Do you believe in the pagan gods, Professor? That gives you a shrewd glance. Do I believe them? That's an interesting question. I've studied almost everything there is to know about the pagan gods, and I've visited some of the temples, even made an offering or two. All we say is I've seen enough to know that these ancient beliefs are not to be trifled with. Tread lightly among the old gods. Okay. What's that diagram on the wall? Ah, yes. We call it Mazarin's mystery. Who was Mazarin then? Mazarin's an elven mystic who did his share of research into the old religions 3,000 years ago. He wrote the Book of the 12 Powers, which was the fairly cryptic analysis of the pagan religions, and according to the Mazarin, there was some sort of a deeper connection between all of them. What do you mean deeper connection? Yeah, well, Mazarin believed that the gods and their powers were somehow interwoven, and this diagram is the supposed explanations on how they're related. Literally, gods don't get along well with each other, so and so begets so and get blessed by this fellow, and that fellow curses you, that sort of thing. I can see. Can you explain the diagram to me then? This is an excerpt from the Book of the 12 Powers that might help explain what it means, but no one has ever been able to solve the Mazrin's mystery to this day, except in the book I wrote. Yeah, this is the excerpt. But actually, in the book I wrote, I already have a few more questions. Yeah, I already have that book. Yeah, good day. But the thing is, if you want, and you want to actually do some light reading, I'll go ahead and just come on, game. Yep, there's a bunch of the bits of the pagan gods here. Yep. Yes, that's 10 double pages, so I'm not gonna read that. But basically said, the books will give us some hints and clues, as well as this picture is gonna give us a bit of hint and clues as well. Basically, if you look at the diagram, there's two sets of gods here, and you offer, I think, the lesser deity. Offer to the over here's the Allfather, I think, and there's also another deity here, and another deity here, and basically they're telling you to make offerings to these gods, then this one, and then make offerings to these gods, and then this one, and then you make an offering here, I think. But the books will give you the clues to on the order in which you offer all these gods. That being said, we're not going to do that for now. There's plenty of guides on the internet to talk about these gods and what we're going to do. Next up, talk to this fellow. Yep. Before you stands a bookish man with the spectacles perched on the top of his head. He is oblivious to your presence, as all of his attention is focused on the telegram. Suddenly he became aware of your presence and looked up. Oh, excuse me. I get so involved in these telegrams people send me. I get questions from everywhere and about demons. Amazing, really. So, what's your name? Yes, of course. Yes, you will have to excuse my excitement. I am new to this whole phrenology discipline, and my colleague, Professor Gershwin, is doing wonderful things in the field. By the way, introductions, I'm Professor Eakins, scientician and expert of demonology. Are you mixing magic and science? I am a scholar involved in research. Magic and science are the opposite sides of the same coin. Really knowledgeable, you must study a tremendous variety of things. Specialization is for insects and orcs. Oh, wow. Okay, so scientific endeavors, I guess, first. I wish there were more to tell, but actually I'm just searching for, on the surface of new ways to scientificdom, such as my exploring of phrenology science will solve all the world's ills within this years, you know. Okay, what about demonology? Well, it concerns the study of demons, obviously. I was just thinking about a rather humorous one, actually, name of Gorgoth. Can you tell me about it? Gorgoth was a mindless demon roaming this countryside, and he had eaten anything he came across, and this is the funny part. He happened upon a village of halflings and ate them all. Seems like he had a sweet tooth for halflings. So isn't that great? What happened to him? Oh, he was banished to some other realms or some such nonsense. That was what's used to do with these troublemakers back in those days. But yeah, that's enough of Gorgoth. And let's talk about the bookseller. Hey, welcome to the university bookstore. Might I help you? What books do you sell here? Well, I'm sure you're well aware, but Talent University is an institution dedicated to the study of science. The books we sell here are about science, technology, and as well. I think so. Interesting. Look, purchase a technical manual. It's 750 per manual. Do you have enough money? Yeah. Let's go more and go to electrical manual. Okay, I'll take my lead. And if you have an electrical manual in your inventory at this time, you will be able to go to the tech and not tech, but our characters. You will see that our ability in that field will increase by the amount of intelligence you have. So I was at 20 before, and now it is at 32 because of the additional book. I'm going to... Okay, just give me a sec. I'm not sure if I'm correct here, so I'll need to pause for a bit. All right, I am correct. So if you have more copies of the manuals like so, if you see here, I have now 2 copies of the electrical manuals in my inventory. And if you look at my character, his abilities are now increased by 44. And that's good because I don't want to spec any further into these fields. And I will save up for my gunsmithy things. That being said, that was a lot of coin. I spent 1,000 old coins on these manuals, but heading to the tech tree, you can see that now we're able to craft the charge sword. And that's actually one of the uses for these technical manuals here.
How can I help you?
Make a trade, Magnus. And if we borrow his sword for a little bit and go to tech, let's craft it. Boom. And I will just give this back to...
How can I help you?
And this sword will be a charge sword. Yes. And if you look at Magnus's inventory, yeah, this charge sword is indubitably better than the sword they had before. But we'll see what is next for him. But that being said, let's actually move around, and I'm going to head back towards the district that we were before, which is the Tarantian docks, to store all these extra bits of manuals. Or should I? Well, we could immediately go over here, make a small detour. Can we actually move here? Yes. And finally stop by the Bates Mansion. Yep. But before we actually head into the Bates Mansion, we could actually talk a little bit to our characters as well.
Sir, what would you have me do? I believe Mr. Bates resides at the northeast end of the Kensington Broadway, if I recall correctly.
May I ask more questions?
Yes, sir. What would you have me do? What can I answer for you?
Will you tell me about Gilbert Bates?
I've never met Mr. Bates personally. He's much too famous to walk the streets. He'd be mobbed everywhere he went. I have had rather long and boring conversations with that Appleby's fellow about Mr. Bates, though. I've never seen anyone hate someone else so much in my life.
Wait, Appleby hates Mr. Bates? Why?
Well, imagine that. I cannot rightly say. After the long, tedious hours I've sat and listened to him drone on, I still cannot tell you exactly why he hates Mr. Bates. Professional jealousy, envy, who can say? Mr. Bates is a genius and Mr. Appleby is a fool. I suppose that is reason enough.
But where does this Appleby fellow live then?
I believe he lives somewhere along the Low Dervish Way in the factory district. I'm not certain, though.
Okay. I'll be departing now. Yep. So we could do a couple of things. We could, if we talk to the guard, and he'll basically tell us how to get in. And there's several ways to actually get in to meet Mr. Bates here as well. But one of the ways that involves us talking to him and then waiting until night and then heading into the factory and then head into the factory and then defend the steam engine, which we're not going to do this time. We're actually going to do the route where we're talking about Cedric, this fellow Cedric. Yep. But I bet, has a couple of doors. Yeah. Let's talk to Cedric, I guess. Well met. Who might I have the pleasure of addressing? My displeasure would be immeasurable if I were to believe you actually did not. Did you not know the genius Cedric Appleby? You can bask in my presence and not be humbled. Well, Bill Gates and Appleby? Really? Gates? Oh no. Bates and Apple? Yep. I had no idea that you were the Cedric Appleby. That is correct. Cedric is Appleby, scholar, gentleman, businessman, and owner of the second largest steam engine in the company of Alterant. Second largest? Why, aren't you the largest? It's that, Charlton Bates, being hailed as a hero. Ah, spit on him. His intelligence is to be that of a gnat compared to mine. Your delusions are larger than your bloated head. Well, what do you know about this Gilbert Bates? Yep. Gilbert Bates is a common thief, nothing more. I've known him since childhood, until he began consorting with us dwarves. They gave him the steam engine, I'm sure of it, and everyone else thinks he invented it. Oh, the scoundrel. How has he invented so much since then? No. Maybe so much to tell him the errors of his ways then. He needs to be humiliated, exposed for the fraud he is. What do you plan to do on doing anything about it? I'm unsure that you are worthy of my trust. The trust of Cedric Appleby is not an easy thing to gain. I could read most of men as if they're an opening tome. Can you read my thoughts and disgust of hatred for you? I'm sure I can be trusted. We shall see what we shall see. Would you be interested in proving I could trust you? Surely. Bates is working on a new steam engine design, which of course he stole from me. Or the prototype. How will this humiliate and expose him? It is clear that to some of my advanced abilities that your intellect has difficulty following my reasoning, considering this preamble to the inevitable ruination of Gilbert Bates, as well as a test of his trustworthiness. And we could accept his proposal lie, accept his proposal truth. Let's see if we can follow my reasoning. I cut you, you bleed. I'll need to contemplate this further. Good day. But as you can see here, there's going to be a bit of something in the rumors and notes here that said, yeah, not Dr. Gershwin, but yeah, if we move over to the quests here, Cedric Appleby will gain you access to Instant Bates' house if you destroy the basin. But yeah, if we head out and really head towards Mr. The guard here, and if you rat him out, come on, move. Yep, if you rat him out, have a chat here. Who might you be, sir? Gilbert Bates is in the industrialist lives here. I have a matter of utmost importance to discuss with Mr. Bates. And this matter would be pertaining to, Cedric Appleby tried to hire me to sabotage Bates' factory. What? I should not be surprised. It is well past time Mr. Appleby was paid for a visit by some friends of Mr. Bates. Well, Mr. Bates will want to thank you personally, I am sure. Please enter. Thanks, and may your watches be untroubled. But yeah, we've actually gained audience with Mr. Bates here, and also got ourselves up. Very good. That being said, we watched the quest there, but that's fine. And Cedric Appleby will not be long for this world, I don't think. That being said, go right in. All right, let's head in and finally meet with the famed Gilbert Bates. See what he has to say. Right, and I do believe... Oh, just give me a second, folks. All right, we are back, and it's now time to meet with Mr. Bates. Is he a master? I'm not. Okay, there he is. Let's talk.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Gilbert Bates, as I'm sure you have surmised. I'd like to extend my thanks to you, sir, for putting an end to the difficulties at my factory. I've been informed that there is a matter you wish to discuss.
Right, so I'd like to ask you about this ring.
Great gods! How did you come by that ring?
A gnome gave it to me as he lay dying.
A gnome? What manner of tomfoolery is this? Are you certain it was not a dwarf?
Of course, I've never seen a skinny, beardless dwarf. Or why would a dwarf have your ring?
That is a long story, and one that does not concern you. Suffice it to say that it should have been in the possession of a dwarf.
Well, it wasn't a dwarf. He was too skinny and he had no beard.
Yes, I am familiar with the dwarves and their customs. Tell me, was there anything distinctive about this fellow?
He had a scar over his left eye.
By Alberic, I knew it in my heart. That was no gnome. It was Stena Rockcutter.
He is actually visibly shaken by this realization. I suppose it could have been But who's Stenner? But why would a dwarf even shave his beard?
Stena was an old friend of mine. But for him to cut off his beard, by the gods, it's unthinkable. But please, tell me, did he say anything to you before he died? Did he say anything about me?
He said he had escaped to warn us about the evil.
The evil? What evil? And where did he escape from?
He didn't say. I was hoping you would know what it meant.
Something horrible must have happened after I... Did he say anything else?
He referred to you as a boy. Why would he do that?
I do not know. Even though dwarves reckon time differently than humans, he must have realized that I am now an old man. Perhaps it is because I was but a boy when I betrayed his trust all those years ago.
Oh no. Did you come to betray him?
That is quite the long tale. A tale of my shame, it is.
Okay. I'm listening.
It is ironic that my greatest mistake is that which brought me such wealth. As a youth, I was enamored of all things dwarven. So I sought out the nearest clan and attempted to impress them with my grasp of their technology. They laughed. It was obviously a novelty to them. A ridiculous human who had a natural bent towards technology. I suppose it didn't help that I was a mere 14 years old at the time. I became something they humored to entertain themselves. Stena was the only one who truly called me friend in all those years. And betrayal is how I repaid his friendship. It was he who first showed me their steam engine, as he knew I could appreciate the beautiful intricacies of its design. They had left it to rust in a corner, as they had very little use for a device that would reduce the need for sheer physical power. Imagine a dwarf relying on a device to do his digging for him. It's preposterous. I asked him if I could tinker with it, perhaps improve on it, as I knew this was the key to becoming truly a part of the dwarven world. I quickly devised a way to use it to power a pump for draining the mines. When I fell all over myself trying to explain it to them, laughter was, once again, their only response. I knew I had to somehow gain their respect, so I hastily sketched some schematics and set out to prove my theory.
I'll let him finish first before I actually add any bit of commentary.
The struggling human mining company that I brought the plans to offered me a share in their mines for the steam pump. I was ecstatic. I had not a care for their mines or their money. I desired vindication. When I returned to the dwarves to boast of my accomplishments and be welcomed into their clan, they were gone. The inventions came quickly after that, fueled by my anger and confusion. How could they have denied me my place amongst them after all my labors? Somehow I felt I could still prove myself to them. I continued searching for them in all my spare moments, but to no avail. But then they came, the robed ones.
Intrigue.
They appeared to me late one night, and they warned me to never speak of, nor try to find the dwarves again. Still being a mere lad, you can imagine the terror that put into me. As my wealth and power grew, I shook off some of my youthful fear, and hired the first in a long chain of investigators to locate Stenar and his clan. None of them ever returned with any worthwhile information, and some never returned at all. The ones that did told of vicious traps and creatures attacking them from the shadows. As word of these failures spread, it became more and more difficult to find souls brave enough to take on the challenge.
But why did they send me here with your ring?
He knew that ring would lend veracity to your tale. I gave Stenner that ring the last time I saw him. Now he is dead. If only we knew what he meant by the evil.
Virgil here thinks this has something to do with his religion.
I don't put much stock in religious ramblings myself. But if you feel it could help you to get more information on the Panari, You should go to their temple on the northern end of Lion's Head Circle. I'm more concerned with who killed Stenner and why, and what all this has to do with my relationship with the Black Mountain clan.
But what is to be done now?
There must be some clue left in the Black Mountain mines. I am certain of this. You seem to be a resourceful individual. Would you be interested in searching the mines for some clue as to their whereabouts? I would make it worth your while, I can assure you.
I'm anxious to solve this conundrum as well. I accept. I'd like to ask you some further questions before I commit myself. That sounds a bit too dangerous. Could be, sir. So definitely not the last one. But yeah, so that's a big exposition there right now. So, well, Gilbert Bates, while he didn't invent the steam engine, definitely borrowed ideas from it. So he's more of a Tony Stark kind of character, but yeah, genius inventor, got rich from his invention. So that being said, I'd like to ask you further about before I commit myself, I guess.
Of course. What do you wish to ask of me?
So you didn't actually invent the steam engine?
I have never actually claimed that I did. It was just people's assumption. I have invented any number of devices based off its principles, but I did not invent the first one.
Is that not dishonest? Taking credit for something you didn't do? Well, he didn't say he took credit.
Such is the enthusiasm, or perhaps the impetuousness of youth, that I did not stop to consider the consequences of my actions. All I could see was a way to gain the respect of the dwarves. It was all that mattered.
Poor guy. Must be unsettling to get so much praise for the steam engine. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and it torments me every day. I was but a child when the robed ones gave me their dire warnings, and I was terrified. They were explicit that I was not to reveal the origins of the steam engine.
You have time for some more questions.
Of course. What do you wish to ask of me?
Why the need to impress the dwarves after they rejected you?
You don't understand. I was orphaned at a young age. The dwarves represented everything I wanted my family to be. A tight-knit clan, and the respect I had for their brilliance with technology. I made the mistake common to youth. I thought intelligence equaled compassion. I needed to belong, to find that I had some worth.
Oh, wow. This resonated with me a lot. Yep. This mistake of youth is thinking intelligence equating to compassion. That is absolutely spot on for us nerds and us guys here trying to be our best and thinking that being able to become smarter will make people means that you'll be able to understand people more. That hit the nail on the head. That's of when you grow up as a person, and some of us never grow up that way or realize that at all. Yeah, that's actually that's pretty deep. That's actually life advice worthy. Don't mistake intelligence for compassion, guys. It's really something that that you need to learn pretty early on to be able to grow up and stop being obsessed with people. No, not with people, but with stop becoming self-obsessed. I think that's the way about it. But yeah, you were orphaned. What happened?
My mother died, bringing me into this world. I believe my father died then as well, even though he continued to exist in the world for some 8 more years. When he could stand living no longer, he took his own life.
Ooh, okay. So some more really heavy topics going on. Abandoning you like that. Look, I'll let Gilbert Bates talk about himself.
Left me decently provided for, and with his grasp on reality becoming more tenuous each day, I believe he felt I would be safer in the care of others. The last thing he did in this life was to give me that ring.
Okay. Then you gave it to Stenner?
That is how much his friendship meant to me. I was devastated when he disappeared with the rest of the clan. I believe I felt more deserted and alone then than I did when my father killed himself.
So if you have any sense of what's going on here, he wanted the acceptance of a clan. He went and did all these inventions and gained intelligence to think that that's going to get him acceptance. And by the time he got back, they've disappeared. And when he went searching for them, a couple of robed individuals actually came to say, stop looking for him. So there's definitely something else going on here. Okay, time for more questions.
Of course. What do you wish to ask of me?
Tell me more about your business.
Well, as you know, I am the foremost manufacturer of steam engines in Arcanum, virtually without competition. I am working on a prototype for a smaller, more efficient engine right now, as a matter of fact. I also have various interests in other technological endeavors.
Yep, smaller, more efficient engine. Like a smaller, more efficient phone, maybe, but never mind that. You know what? It's kind of funny because this was back in 2001, right? So the idea that Apple would actually, Applebee would surpass Gilbert Bates, or Apple would actually surpass Microsoft in terms of their technological share on the market is actually quite interesting. But that being said, the overwhelming people at the time this is 2001, so this was like a few years before Apple came into prominence with their iPhones and stuff. iPhone, I think, was 2006. But anyways, how have you devastated your competition? So
It is not much of an accomplishment when old Cedric Appleby is your chief competitor. Poor Cedric. Always was a bit of a blundering fool.
Ooh.
I really wish I could have convinced him to come work for me.
Why? I mean, if he's such an idiot.
Cedric and I were close friends when we were children. He was furious that I wouldn't introduce him to the dwarves. Can you imagine? I had a difficult enough time gaining their respect without his simple-mindedness. After I invented the steam engine, he began to despise me. Strangely enough, I wish he was still my friend some days.
Some questions?
Of course. What do you wish to ask of me?
I've decided to explore the Mountain Clan mines for you.
Splendid. Here, let me mark your map with the location of the Black Mountain mines. I am certain there must be some clues to be found there. Please, return as soon as you have found anything.
I shall return with the information you've requested.
One more thing. I would like to purchase my ring back from you. I'd give you 200 coins. It would mean quite a bit to me. My father gave it to me before he died.
Certainly. Here.
Much obliged. I will speak with you when you return.
Right, I am leaving now. And that's that. That was Gilbert Bates. And yeah, let's leave here at the moment. And I think that is a good stopping off point in our quest as well. Because with Gilbert Bates talking about the Black Mountain Clan and their disappearance, and there's more stuff going on afoot here, we shall continue on our main adventure. We're not heading to the is it Black Dragon or Black Dwarf's clan? Black Mountain Clan as of yet. It's going to be a little while before that is going to come to pass. That being said, though, we could actually head over here and drop by and have a look at the Panari religion temple next time. But yeah, there was quite a lot of exposition, quite a lot of plot, and quite a lot of things going on around here, world building. But yeah, that being said, thanks for joining me. I'm Biggy, and I'll be back next time. See you guys in a bit.